and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good people of the tube. Hope you're well today. Hope you're feeling grand and all is well in your world. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to A&Q Wednesday, everybody. Let's get to it, shall we? This is the last A&Q Wednesday of 2020, everybody. What a weird year it has been. Who would have thought when we started this year we'd be here now? Bizarre. Anyway, wherever that is. Anyway, moving along. So, anyway, question one today. Question one today is, if you made your own partscaster, what would you pick to make your perfect strat? Big question. And this is a question that I'm not only going to answer, but I put it to you, the good people of the tube. If you were to put together a dream Stratocaster, what would you have in it? Let us know in the comment section below. What parts would you use? Blah, 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 all that malarko and all that good stuff. So, anyway, so what would I pick? My white Strat. No. Yeah, so let's get down to brass tacks here and talk specs, okay? Okay, so spec-wise, so it would have to be white. It would have to be kind of like the off-white, kind of, you know, that kind of like colour that Olympic white goes, where it's not white, it's not kind of like fully yellow like the 70s Strats. It's kind of like that kind of creamy colour. It'd have to be that colour. Mint green scratch plate, rosewood neck, dark rosewood neck. Kind of vintage modern kind of frets, 6105 kind of frets. So really tall but kind of skinny. Vintage radius on the fretboard, so the 7 1/4 or whatever it is. It'd have to be that on the neck. Obviously maple neck on the back, rosewood board. Tuners would have to just be the 6 in the line. I don't know why I'm pointing to these. Or this has them actually. These ones, the ones at lock. The old style Cluson Deluxe ones. Have to be those kind of machine heads. Single string tree, if you want to get that picky, it has to be one tree. One butterfly tree. So that'd be the neck. Oh yeah, and also not 22 frets. Is it 22? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, 21 frets. No more than 21 frets. Don't need any more than that. So, you know, although I do like the Gems 24. I don't know. But no, if it was my dream guitar, I'd have to have 21 frets. So that's the neck. Body-wise, it'd be an older body. I say finish, you know, preferably nitro, white, kind of off-white, creamy finish. Mint green scratch plate, three-way selector, 250k pots in there. Don't care what the capacitor is on the tone control, as long as it works. Pickups would be Tex-Mex pickups, and that would be it. Oh, decent, you know, vintage-style 6-screw tremolo, not the 2-point tremolos or anything like that. It'd have to be a 6-point tremolo. 6-screw tremolo, sorry, vintage style. So that's it. I mean, in all fairness, I've just described my white Mexican Fender. That's what I've just done. So, so basically, just this guitar. Oh, I've already got it. No, I'm so funny, aren't I? He's an idiot. Anyway, but yeah, basically this guitar, because this guitar is this is my perfect guitar. I just love it to bits. And I just, like I say, like I've always said, this is the guitar I measure all guitars by. You know, every guitar I've ever got since I got this guitar in 2004 has been measured against this guitar, because this is just heaven to me. This guitar is my mate, is my best mate, and it'll be with me forever. And if every guitar I had to go, this would be what's left. This is the only one I would be keeping. If I had to, you know, that'd be a horrific day. Can you imagine that? You have to get rid of all your guitars but one. My God, what a dark, horrible day that would be. But if that ever came to pass, which I certainly hope, touch wood, it won't. This is the guitar that I would have, because I just adore this. This is my mate. We've been through so much together, and I love the sound. I love the feel. Everything about this guitar is just perfect for me. So it's just a clone of this. You know, I've got no, you know, I just love this. This is me. This is me. I'm, you know, yeah, dream guitar. It really is. I mean, I know I've got so many awesomely lovely guitars, but this one, because we spent so much time together, and I learned everything I pretty much know on this guitar. You know, I mean, all the major developing I did on guitar, I did with this guitar. You know, all the major kind of learning curves and development that I've done on guitar is through this. You know, it's not any other guitar that's done that. It's this one more than any. And like I said, I just described this one, didn't I, in a nutshell? So yeah, Dream Strat. If I was to make a partcaster Dream Strat, it'd just be another one of these. You know, like I say, Tex-Mex pickups, 250k pots. The only thing I would change on this is how this one's got a 5-way. I'd put a 3-way selector in it, because I never use position 2 and 4. I don't really like that sound of those two and those two. I just don't like that sound. It doesn't make me very happy. It's not a sound I ever hear in my head, and I just don't like it. So that's the only thing I would change, is I'd put a 3-way selector in. And if this one ever dies, I will put a 3-way selector in this guitar. I won't put another 5-way in it. A 3-way would go in. But yeah, I mean, the neck on this guitar is my hand shape now, because I've played it so much. It's just perfect. I'll say the only other thing I would change on this guitar, if I could, is a nitro finish, because this is a polyurethane finish, and it's not ridiculously thick, but it's thick, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, Dream, you know, if I was to make my perfect Strat, I would just make this. So, you know, be that for what it is. Sorry, that was a bit of a weird answer, but I don't know where I am today, everybody. My mind is just my mind is here, but I don't know, my mind's in a weird place today. I do apologise immensely, but hopefully this answer kind of made some kind of sense. And like I say, I mean, this guitar is just like, it's just my voice when I don't have a voice. It really is, and I just love it to pieces, and I could never be without this guitar, ever. I just really couldn't. It's like, it's just, like I said, I just can't imagine life without this. You know, it sounds really weird, I'm sure, to some people, but it really is one of those guitars that, like, without this, like, you know, it'd be, I just can't imagine it. It's just been here it's such a big internal part, like, just a critical part of me, that without it, it'd be really weird. It's like Rory Gallagher without his signature 61, or Stevie Ray Vaughan without his 62, or John Frusciante without his 62, and you know, all those kind of classic guitar players without their kind of signature guitars, like Dave Gilmour without his black Strat. You know, it wouldn't feel right if I didn't have this guitar. You know what I mean? I adore this one to pieces, and like I say, every guitar I ever will get from this point on will be measured by this guitar. You know, every guitar, no ifs, no buts. You know, regardless of what it is, it has to stack up to this. And if it doesn't stack up to this, I'm not really that interested. You know what I mean? I have had so many guitars throughout my kind of like guitar playing life, and it's bizarre how many kind of like I've bought, gone, this is amazing, got it home, and I compare it to this, and I'm like, no, and it goes back. You know, the guitars I have now are, comparable. Is that the word? You know, they stack up next to my Mr. White here. They really stack up. So, you know, that's why I love all the guitars I have. You know, that's why they're here. You know, and not somebody else's, because they stack up against this one. But like I say, this is my dream guitar. It's just, everything about this guitar is just perfect to me. I'll say the neck now is just like, it just feels, it's so comfy. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's not a fat neck by any means. It's quite a skinny little neck now. That could be to do with the fact it's been refretted and the fretboard's been planed a few times. Well, twice. 3 times, sorry. But it's so comfy. I mean, the thing is, when I get it refretted again, I won't get it planed again. The fretboard will not be planed again. I'm just going to get it refretted. I won't have the fretboard planed ever again, because it'll just make the neck, I think at this point I want the neck to stay where it is. I don't want it to get any skinnier, and if you're planing it and planing it and planing it, it's just going to get skinnier and skinnier and skinnier. Then it's going to become a veneer board instead of a slab board, and then eventually the neck will be worn out and I won't be able to play it because it'll be that skinny. It won't have any structural integrity. So I like where it is now. It won't get planed again. It's fine. And yeah, my dream Strat, everybody. But people of the tube, Let us know in the comment section below. If you were to put together a partscaster, what would it be? Let us know in the comment section below. Losing my voice. Okay, so I was doing some singing before this video, and it was very involved, and I've kind of, well, not blew my voice out, but I've kind of tired my voice, everybody. So anyway, but I hope I made some kind of sense. But like I say, Mr. White here is my mate, and he's my best mate, and he is a dream guitar. Yeah, it really is a dream guitar. It's just so perfect. This guitar is. I love it to bits, and I'm sure some people pick it up and not like it, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's it's my guitar at the end of the day, and that's all that matters, and I just adore it to bits. So anyway, I hope I answered that question okay. I've got a horrible feeling that was just like a cop out, but I hope that was okay. Okay, so I'm going to move on to question 2 now. Question 2 is, do you mix major and minor pentatonics? Yes, I believe I do. I don't know how or why or when, but yeah, I believe I do mix minor and major pentatonics. Because, well, at the bottom of because I play kind of mainly pentatonic, at the bottom of the pentatonic scale here, that's just a major scale. So yeah, you just got a major scale there, so technically coming then into here, that's just a major scale. So yeah, technically, yeah, I am mixing between like major and minor, depending. But I don't really think about that kind of thing, to be honest with you. When I play, I don't really think about much, to be honest with you. I normally get kind of lost in kind of wherever I go. You know what I mean? And the feelings that creates in me, and I just kind of like get it out one way or another now. I don't really think about what I'm doing or how I'm doing it or whatever here. I just play, because I don't like to think anymore. I've been there and I've done the kind of like the technical aspect of thinking when you play, and I don't like it. So I just play. I know where I want to go, and I know what I need to play to say what I want to say, hopefully, which is all I want, really. I just want to be able to express myself through the guitar and really just kind of like explain how I feel through the guitar and through music, and then also in so doing make people on the other side of that happier, feel less alone, comfort them if they're sad. I want that. I want that thing, that healing property that music has. I want that with the guitar now. I'm no longer interested in kind of like becoming like, technical whiz kid on guitar, or this, that, and the other, or fastest, or this, that, and the other. I just want to be able to do that thing that music has done for me, which is just help me feel better and heal me when I've been broken or damaged or upset or whatever, in grief or heartache and heartbreak or whatever. I want what music gives me there. I want to be able to give that to others through my playing. So I don't think when I start playing guitar solos or guitar in general, I don't think about what I'm doing, if it's major or minor, or is it modal, or is it this, or is it that. I don't think about that. I just try and channel me through this. That channel that kind of inner feeling through this. That's all I want to do. I am not interested in the slightst bit of analysing my guitar playing. I just don't care. I don't care, because I've got to that point where I'm so happy with my guitar, how I can play and where I play and what I do, that I don't feel I need to analyse it anymore. I don't need to kind of like figure it out, because I've done that. I'm where I want to be, guitar-wise. I'm there musically because... Oh, well, I'm not where I want to be musically. I'm still striving to get to that point. I don't think I'll ever reach it, and that's fine. Like I said, like I've said in other Q&As, I would rather fight to reach the top of the mountain but never reach it than get to the top of the mountain and have to come down, if that makes any sense. Like, I would always like to see like the peak of the mountain there and just keep fighting to get to it but never make it. But every day you get a bit closer, but you never make it to it. You never make it to the peak, which is fine. But I would prefer to do that and just fight all the way up, but never get there, than get all the way to the top and then shroom. Because when you get to the top, there's only one way you go, and that is down, and I don't want that. So I'd much rather be, like I say, just a constant kind of like just slight progression day in, day out, you know what I mean? Just kind of like keep going. You know, instead of kind of like, oh, I'm at the top now. Oh no, I've got to come down. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, so that's what I want, and I say I'm not interested in kind of like being the best guitarist in the world. I don't think it matters. To be honest with you, it's not a competition. You know, guitar and music is not a competition. I understand where that comes from, because when I started playing guitar, I thought that's what kind of like. I thought there was that kind of aspect to it, like, you know, you had to be really like the best. It took me a fair few years to understand it's not about that. It's just about expression and making music and just making this thing emote and sing. But that's okay. You know, that's okay. That's natural progression. That's what happened. You know, it's all good. But like I said, I'm not interested in kind of am I doing major, minor, mode, whatever when I play. I just want to play, and I just want to get out what I want to say and get through to other people what I want to say, hopefully. You know, I always beat myself up the fact I'm not doing good enough, which in a kind of a way is a good thing, because it makes me push myself to my limits, you know, sometimes to the absolute limit of my ability, to the point where, like, you know, if I do something, I'll be absolutely destroyed afterwards. It'll wipe me out, because I've just pushed myself so far that my body, I just can't take it. Like, you know, either mentally or physically, it's one way or another. There's been many times at a gig where with a trio or something where I've pushed myself to my limit, and I've got to that point where I'm that exhausted that I kind of start kind of feeling sick. You know, and there have been points in time where I've nearly, you know, there has been points in time where I have been sick, and I've made myself like ill, basically, just by pushing myself, which I don't think is a bad thing. You know, as long as you just take care of yourself after that, you know, and just keep on top of that, and don't let that become like a common occurrence, like you're gonna burn yourself out, kind of thing. It's not cool. You know, you got to stay on top of that. But I just want people to feel what I play and understand it. That's all I care about. That's all I want. That is really all I want out of the guitar. I don't care if people think I'm not particularly technically good, or I'm a slow guitar player, or this, that, and the other. I don't care about that. All I care is, can you feel it? And if you can't, then I need to work harder. And that is usually the case where I get like, no, it's not there. And that's what drives me, and that's what really pushes me to get better at guitar at this point in time, is I am not to that point where I can really get through emotions to people in a every time. You know what I mean? Yeah, and sometimes I can't make myself kind of feel it, if that makes any sense, because like I'll struggle with one thing or another here and there, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. But that's okay as well. It's just frustrating at the time. But as for mixing minor and major pentatonics, like I say, I'm pretty sure I do. I just don't understand when or why or whatever. I don't think about it that way. I just do it. You know, I just do things. You know, I just play the guitar. I don't analyze it. I don't think about it. I'm not interested in thinking about that. I just want to play the guitar. You know, unless I'm learning a new song, in which case I have to think about it, which is okay. Yeah. But then after I've learned it, I don't have to think. It's great. Okay, but yeah. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever, but like, hopefully that kind of does. But like I said, I just love that aspect of guitar of closing your eyes, or not closing your eyes, and just getting lost in the notes and the noise and the emotion more than anything, and the feel of what you do. It's just so. It's literally all I want, because I just love it so much. That's just literally it. You know, that is literally it. That's where I am, and I just love that. I really love that. So yeah. So I hope it's answered your question. I really do hope that answers your question. Yeah, I mean, I could talk about it for hours and hours and hours and hours, but I'm not going to here. maybe another time. But anyway, I hope it's answered your question. I'm going to move on to question 3 now. There's the Fear. Hi, Fear. Okay, so everyone say hello, Fear. Okay, so question 3. is, do you watch the Sounds Like videos on Andertons TV? And which one do you feel gets the closest? Yes, I do watch the Sounds Like videos on Andertons TV, yes. Which ones do I feel got the closest? I thought the Slash one was really good. I can't remember which one it was, but one of the Slash ones, they got really kind of ridiculously close. They, in my opinion, didn't get anywhere near John Frusciante. When they did John Frusciante, I thought it was just diabolically bad. In my personal opinion, sorry to Rabir and Matt for that one, but it just wasn't there. It was nowhere near. And like say, being a John Frusciante nut, it was driving me insane. Trying to think of others. My brain's gone blank now. I can't think of any. But I did. Yeah, I mean the Slash one, I feel they got close. Did they do a Green Day one? I swear they did Green Day. And I think that was really close as well. I swear that one was really close. What else did they do? They've done loads. They've done so many. It's really hard to think. Diddly-dee, diddly-doo, diddly-dee, diddly-doo. I ain't got my phone, and if I did have my phone, I don't have access to the internet, so yeah. But so, think, Dave, think. I can't think. But I mean, I feel some of them got really, really close, but some of them are like a million miles away, and I don't feel some of them got really anywhere near in the ballpark. I don't think the Jimi Hendrix ones were that particularly great either, to be honest with you. They were a bit, they weren't in the right place at all. They're the only ones I can remember off this point in time. I do remember like some of the metal ones, but the thing is, I'm not really kind of like big into that kind of sound, so I wouldn't know how close that was, if that makes any sense, because it's not really my kind of thing. So like, you know, I think I did like something like, you know, sound like Dream Theater or something like that. I don't remember, but I don't know how close that got, because I don't really listen to Dream Theater that much, to be honest with you. So I'm trying to think if there's any I can think of off the top of my head. Did they do an Oasis one? You know what, I can't remember, people do. I'm so sorry. I really don't remember. Like I said, I do remember the Slash one being really good. I forget which one, because I think they've done two where it was like Busting the Bank and without Busting the Bank. But I think it was, I can't remember which one it was. I felt it was really close. Like I said, the John Frusciante one was just a mess. The Jimi Hendrix one wasn't that great either, I don't feel. But like I say, in all fairness, I mean, some of them are really, really good. You know what I mean? Some of them are like, oh my god, that is it. That's the sound. Some of them are like, yeah, that's okay. And then some of them are like, you know what I mean? But, yeah. But it is very hard to, you know, it's hard to replicate some of these kind of tones. Because you got to think, I mean, some of these iconic tones that people have got. Like, I always think of Jerry Cantrell's tone in Facelift, Alice in Chains' first album. I always think of that tone when I think about how can you replicate that. Because it's such an amazing guitar tone Jerry's got on that album. And listening to, like, I've read articles with Jerry and watched interviews with him, and also read articles with Dave Jordan, who recorded it, and read articles about him, and they explain about what they did. And Jerry's tone in that album is a mix of three amplifiers. There's a modded Marshall, a Randall, and a Rockman. And if I remember correctly, the Marshall was the low, like the low end of the amp sound, the guitar sound. The Randall was the mid, and the Rockman was the high sparkly bit. And they basically mixed those three to get one sound, and that's Jerry's tone. So when you're trying to replicate that with one amp, it's kind of impossible. You know what I mean? You can get close, but not really. It's the same with John Frusciante. You know, with John's tone, you have to think about Marshall, plexi, and, well, major plexi technically. But, you know, Marshall Major and Silver Jubilee mixed together. You know, you have to think about those two amps. Same with Stevie Ray Vaughan as well. Stevie, you know, Fender amps, Dumble amps, Marshall later on. You know, all the mix of these amps make one sound. And Rory Gallagher as well. You know, he there's a Fender Bassman, Fender Concert where you mix. And, you know, then later on you get, like, your Marshall JMPs. And then later Marshall Vox, Marshall Ampeg, Marshall Mesa Boogie, and Vox. You know, all these kind of iconic sounds, I think, are multiple amps sometimes, and it's really hard to replicate that with just like one amp. You know, so it's just really difficult. So if you can get close with one amp, that's really, really cool. there are some iconic sounds out there that are just one amp. Slash is a great example of that. Appetite for Destruction. It's just that modded plexi, whatever that was. It's just that sound. It's that amp. It's that one amp. Same thing with some Jimi Hendrix stuff. It's just a Marshall plexi, or it's or a Fender Showman, or a Fender whatever, or whatever. Trying to think of anything else. I would say most of Rory's Taste stuff. Rory's first band, Taste. I would say that's just an AC30. It sounds like just an AC30. It doesn't sound like there's any other amp in there. But later on, you can hear all sorts kind of going in there. There is quite a bit kind of craziness going on. But what else is there? There's quite a lot of people who kind of mix and match amps, to make one sound. But it is very difficult to replicate some album tones because you got to think about what it ran through after they recorded it. It's like, what microphone, what was the distance of the mic, what did it run through after that? Did they EQ it? Did they compress it? What did they do to it post-production? Did they add stuff to it later on? So it's really hard to do that, It's like, I've got a bootleg somewhere of Voodoo Child. It's like take 2 or something like that of Voodoo Child. And the guitar tone in that sounds nothing like the guitar tone in the final version. Absolutely nothing like. It's totally different. So it makes you go, I wonder what they did. I wonder what Eddie Kramer did kind of mixing-wise. What did he take out? What did he add? Because he obviously had a delay in the panning thing and stuff and reverb as well. Which obviously wasn't in the room when Jimmy recorded it because Jimmy didn't use reverb or delay. You had to add that post. So yeah, it's so difficult to replicate some people's tone with just one amp. You need multiple kind of amps to replicate certain sounds. Like I say, Jerry Cantrell facelift tone is always I always think of that when replicating sounds and thinking, bloody hell, that's 3 amps running together, to make one sound. And no wonder. And when you know that and you listen to it again, you're like, I can hear the difference. Like you can hear, you can't split them up, but you almost can. And it's really, really cool. So it sounds amazing. But yeah, coming back to the Andertons ones, I think some of them got really close. Like I say, some of them didn't. Some of them just like, no. You know what I mean? But, it is what it is. But yeah, either way, I enjoy watching the vids. They're really, really cool. And I've always enjoyed watching them. Okay, so anyway, yeah, hope that's a question. That was a bit of a ramble, wasn't it? Tangent time, everybody! Yay! Okay, so rock on, man. Okay, so, go. Here's a question for you people of the tube. As far as I know, that's... I remember watching a documentary on Funkadelic years and years ago. And I remember George Clinton saying, that's the sign for P-Funk, right? Now, people do that for rock and metal. Because that's supposed to be the devil horns, right? Now, which way round is rock? Is it that way? So it looks like a devil head and you got the horns? Or is it that way? Because George Clinton says that's P-Funk, and if that's P-Funk, then that's metal and rock. People of the tube, let me know in the comment section below, which way round is it? Is it that way or that way? Because I would say that's rock because it looks more like a devil, and I would say that's P-Funk because George Clinton said so. And you can't go against George Clinton when it comes down to that kind of thing. So, yes, let us know in the comment section below, people of the tube. And there's an E major chord for you. Which I really don't like because I hate that G string. I hate that note. It always sounds horrible to me. I always mute it. So when I play an E major, I technically play an E minor, but don't tell anyone. Anyway, okay, so anyway, moving along. So final question today, everybody. Question 4. So question 4 is, out of a Marshall Origin and the Studio Vintage 20, which would you say is best for plexi tone at low wattage? So out of the Origin and the Studio Vintage, which is the plexi, the small 20 watt plexi, which one is best for plexi tone at low wattage? It's the Studio Vintage, hands down. The Origin is good, the Origin is great, but it's not amazing like the Studio plexi. The Studio plexi is just unreal, and I want one because it's just amazing. Like I say, I played through my friend Nicole's a while back, and it's just it's an amazing amp. It's still And you've got the ability to go low or high on the thingy. I mean, it's still you still have to kind of like have to be fairly loud with that thing to get it cranked. But the same thing goes with the Origin. To be honest with you, it has to be not loud, but you know what I mean. Like, you know, it has to be turned up a bit. But you know, it's nothing an attenuator can't fix, if that makes any sense. But for plexi tones, the Studio Vintage Plexi, perfect, absolutely perfect. I mean, I adore that thing. I mean, I always kind of thought I would because I'm a plexi fanatic. I love Marshall plexis, you know, hence why the MG's in a plexi super lead box, because I think they're the coolest looking amps ever made. I really do. Every time I look at that thing, or a super lead, or a super bass, or a major, or whatever, I just think they are the coolest looking amps I've ever seen in my life. I just love them to bits. I think they just are just unreal. They're just perfect to me. I've always been drawn to the look of them. I don't really know why, to be honest. I just adore the look of them. They just look absolutely beautiful to me. So if you were to ask me which one gives you the best plexi tones at low wattage, it's the Studio Vintage any day of the week. You know, the Origin is good, but the Studio Vintage nails that plexi thing. It really does. I mean, it's just been a lucky little bugger that I am. I've played through a lot of old plexis, and it really sounds and feels like an old plexi. It really responds right as well, which is always really important. And it just has that kind of bark, you know what I mean? And I love it to bits. And it just responds properly, and it sounds proper, and it looks great, and it just is great. And I just adore that thing so much. It's so good. So yeah. So if you ask me, like I say, it'd be the Studio Vintage any day of the week. It's just, yeah. I want one so much. I really, really want one. I mean, it's way out my price range. I couldn't afford it if I wanted one, which I do. But like, you know, maybe one day I'll be able to get one. Anyway, but yeah. So there you go. Yeah, that's easy. That's an easy question to answer, that one. No tangent needed there. I'm afraid, people of YouTube. So is there anything I need to say? No, there isn't. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this NQ, people of YouTube. I hope I've answered your questions okay. Like I say, the fear kicked in quick today, but I hope I've answered your questions okay. I hope it's been, you know, somewhat informative, and I hope, you know, there's something you can take away from there. Like I say, let us know in the comments section below what would you have on your perfect partscaster, or what would your dream guitar have? You know, it doesn't have to be a Stratocaster. What would your dream guitar be, and what would be in it? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, P-Funk, rock, which way round? Tell me. Let me know in the comment section below. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. If you want to submit a question for A&Q, description box below has an email link. Email me there. I will get to it when I get to it. If I don't answer your question, it means I've already done it in a previous Q&A, A&Q. Yeah, and that's it, everybody. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this vid, and I will see you again very soon for another one. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening. Well, will I see you in 2020 now, people of the tube? I think I will. I don't remember. So yes. 30th of December. Yes, I'll see you in 2020. Have a great New Year's Eve and day. Don't get too hungover now. Anyway, he says. I won't be. But anyway. I don't know what I'm on about. I'm lost my mind, people of the tube. It's gone, so I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Goodbye now. Thank you. Happy New Year.